and our topic today is 7 ways to use drip marketing in your business. I am joined by Todd Vio, who I think is on mute, so Todd, you don't have to say hello, but he'll be showing up later on to give us a little tutorial on Swiftpage. And I would like to welcome all of our guests from all over the world. We had a great response to this topic, and as someone who has written or co-written more than 300 drip marketing campaigns that have resulted in thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars for our clients and for us, this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. So I hope you'll be motivated today by what we're sharing and incorporate some of it into your business. If you have any questions during our time together, you'll notice there's a question box on your GoToWebinar dashboard panel. So just type it in there, press enter, click send, and we'll save time at the end for your questions. You don't need to worry about taking notes. This is being recorded, and you'll have a chance to hear the replay if there's something that you missed, or just listen to it at your leisure at a future time. You'll get the recording tomorrow. It will come from GoToWebinar, not from us. So you might have to check your spam or junk folder to find it, but they'll have a link, and we'll also include any resources that we talk about on today's call. So here's our agenda, short and sweet. But before we get started, Todd, let's do our first poll. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it. Am I going to be able to see it? You might have to talk. Okay. Tell us how much you know about drip marketing right now. And we'll give everybody a minute to answer. So Todd, tell me when, can I see this? While everybody's taking it? Oh yeah, here I see, okay, I see it. All right, good. Looks like everyone's voting, and, ooh, good answers. Okay, even if you don't know anything yet, we still want your vote. So let us know where you are in the process. The presentation today is going to be everything from beginner to advanced, so no matter what you answer, you're going to get something out of today's information. So let us know where you stand, though, so that we can adjust accordingly. Okay, that looks pretty. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Todd, stop the poll. And okay, it looks like, are you sharing it? Okay. All right, so this is about what I thought. Actually, it's a little bit lower on the not sure what it is. I guess if you're here, that bumps up the score on that one a little bit. But 60% of you know what it is, and you know you need to be doing it, but you haven't jumped in yet. So that was an expected score. So thank you for being honest, since I can't know who you are anyway. And 10% of you are really going good. You're doing it now. Congratulations. It's not easy to get started, but once you've started, it's super easy to keep it going. So I commend you. Well done. And thank you, everybody, for your answer. So that's very helpful. That's usually the second one is the one that, you know, it's like our human nature inertia. So I totally get it. But for what you're going to learn how to do today, you are going to find some truly amazing ways of using your database and incorporating your Swiftpage account so that you can get more business easier in a more hands-off way, and hopefully shorten sales cycles as well. So there's lots of good reasons for doing drip. And so we're going to touch on quite a bit of them today. I want to put drip into perspective by sharing the treasure triangle with you. For those of you who have been on previous trainings that we've had, I have covered the other 2 topics, the email blast and the e-newsletter. But this is really what I call the money map for making money with an e-marketing strategy in your business. And there are 3 distinct strategies when you do email marketing, and what I find is that most people, or a lot of people, mush them all together, and so a lot of times my clients will say, oh yeah, I do drip marketing, and it turns out no, they're just sending out batch, what I call batch and blast, just emails, single emails out there, and they're doing it on some kind of a regular basis, even if it's not a consistent basis. It's just, you know, when they think of it. So they think that's drip. No, that is not drip. Drip is a unique, totally separate entity into itself. And so I want to go through each point very quickly so that you can understand where the positioning comes in for drip. So first of all, what we're looking at is an equilateral triangle. There's a top half, there's a bottom half, and the triangle is equal because in your marketing plan, you need to account for all three of these things, and they're probably all equally important, but the bottom half of the triangle for drip marketing is where you really get your traction with closing the business faster and nurturing your clients. So everybody knows what an e-newsletter is. Everybody knows what an email blast is. Those are, the top of the triangle is what I call the all about you messages. They're all about your company, your products, your services, your employees, your new building, how you've got the lowest prices and the best service, all that stuff. That's great. Need to have a place for that. That's where that goes, above the top half of the triangle. But when you move to the bottom half of the triangle, now you're into the lead nurturing, or a lot of times it's called marketing automation piece. And lead nurturing messages get 4 to 10 times the response of a standalone email blast. Okay, let me repeat that. 4 to 10 times the response rate. So a lot of times I'll get, Lori, I don't get a very good open rate on my emails. Okay, when you don't get a good open rate, that means nobody's reading anything that you're sending. So that's not a good thing, and usually it's because you're sending every email to everyone in your database. So that's never good. On the other hand, some of my drip marketing emails have gotten 100% open rate. Yes, 100%. I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying when you really target and only send the right message to the right person at the right time, you're going to get a higher open rate. And you know, if I've got 30,000 people on my email list in my database, a drip to me may only go to 10 or 20 people. So when I say I get 100% open rate, it's not that hard. I'm not sending it to that many, but they're timed to be delivered at exactly the right time for that person, for where they are in the buying cycle. So another stat that I found, nurtured leads have a 23% shorter sales cycle. Wouldn't that be nice if instead of waiting, you know, you're on your sales calls and the client says, well, okay, got to talk to my wife, got to do this, got to put it in the budget, whatever, and then eventually they buy. Let's say it took, you know, 6 months for them to buy. If we could get everybody to, you know, decide in 4 months instead of 6 months, that would be a huge impact to your bottom line. So that's one of the advantages of drip. If you can, you know, nobody ever has time to follow up personally because there's usually more prospects than we have bodies to do the follow-up. But if we can put the drip into place and that's doing it, it's going to take care of a lot of the sales process that we don't have time to get to. And I guess the best way for positioning drip marketing on this treasure triangle is that at any given time, only 4%, like 4 out of 100 visitors to your website are ready to buy today. And the rest of them are just shopping, they're thinking, they clicked and ended up on your site. They have no idea why they got there. And you know, maybe there's a little seed being planted, but they're a long, long, long way from pulling out a credit card or calling you up and signing off on a PO. So drip marketing can extend the sales time that you have with these people even after they leave your website. So if you can capture them on your website, you can stay in touch and keep the conversation going. So there's more and more decision makers in the sales process today than ever before. And how many times have you presented your solution to one person and then lost the sale because somebody else didn't understand what you were presenting? So that happens a lot. You know, people are way too busy to really focus on you know, what's in front of them for their highest priority. And when they have to spend money, they're unless you're spending a whole lot of money, they're really not paying that much attention, and they just, it's, you know, it's the ADD society that we live in. So drip marketing messages can be forwarded. You can add multiple decision makers to your drips without having to repeat yourself over and over. It really makes your life so much simpler to have a drip marketing campaign set up and taking care of all the millions of questions that you get asked over and over again that you're tired of answering, but they're at the beginning of the sales cycle, the beginning of the sales purchase process, and they need to know those answers to make a decision. So that's where drip marketing falls on the treasure triangle. And so now for those of you who are not familiar with drip marketing, what is it? And one of my favorite quotes from Gleanster Research, top performing organizations are 4 times more likely than everyone else to engage in nurture marketing tactics. So drip marketing came from the agricultural world, the term drip marketing, and so you've got this big field of agriculture crops that are growing, and it's not raining very much, but you need to keep them hydrated so they don't dry up in the sun. And so you don't want to dump a bunch of water on them and then not do anything for 2 weeks and then come back and a month later drop some more water on them. You want to keep them hydrated over a long period of time. So drip is kind of the same concept. It's planned, scheduled, points of contact. You're in control of when they get it, but they are the trigger. They are the ones that hit upon your business at a certain time, and now you have an opportunity to create an ongoing response with them. So what's the difference between, you may have heard these terms, drip marketing, marketing automation, autoresponder, follow-up, nurture marketing, blah, blah, blah. They're all the same thing. They just reflect the process of staying in touch over a period of time through targeted messages, right person, right time, right message. Marketing automation typically is related to the software that you're using. So there's lots of marketing automation software. Swiftpage does have we've investigated all of them. They have the lowest entry point in terms of pricing. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But is an add-on to your ACT database. It's a great entry-level tool that does a lot of stuff very powerfully without a lot of money. So what is included when you do drip marketing? Is it only email? No, it can be all these other things as well. It's easiest to do email, but advertising tracking has shown that the more ways that you can interact with your list, the more response that you'll have, because not everybody learns the same way, not everybody responds the same way, but message repetition is the key to getting attention. So if you can incorporate all of these, you're way ahead of the curve. Okay, so at this point, a lot of people say to me, well, you know, why can't I just do this myself? Why do I have to have a marketing automation tool or Swiftpage drip marketing module to do this? And it's true, you can do this manually, but you have to remember it to do it. You have to schedule it. You have to set yourself recurring reminders. But you have to think about the process every day. And it's very difficult to do something that requires a lot of detail thinking when you're trying to do the core business that you're in every day. So with Swiftpage, you add the drip marketing module to your email marketing module. For about $30 a month for 1,000 email sends, you can add that on. So for about $60 a month, you can get started with this. Many of the other drip marketing or marketing automation software tools that are out there charge way more, several $100s a month to several $1,000s a month. And of course, there are lots of bells and whistles beyond what Swiftpage has. But if you are not using anything right now to do your drip marketing, you don't need to buy more technology than you're going to use. So Swiftpage is a great way to get started, and it will handle quite a bit of your drip marketing strategy before you will outgrow it. It'll scale with you for quite a while. Okay, so where do you start? You may have lots of questions, and we're going to hopefully answer a lot of these. It is a kind of strategy that requires a lot of front-loaded effort. You have to figure out what the steps of the drip marketing are going to, steps and the stages are going to be. You've got to figure out what to write in each message. That seems to be the hardest part for each person. And a lot of people who are in a position to add drip marketing in their companies are salespeople, and salespeople are great presenters, but it seems like when you sit down and have to type that out into some kind of a written message, everybody reverts back to, like, you know, second grade corporate speak, you know, verbs and subject lines, and or not subject lines, but verbs and nouns and very corporate speak, and that never works. So if you can talk, you can write good drip marketing messages, because the best ones sound like conversations. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to now jump into what this program is about, which is the 7 most common triggers in your business that could generate a drip marketing response from you. And here they are. These are certainly not all of them, but they are the most popular ones. And the way to think of this is that every day when you go into work, you know certain things are going to happen. Somebody's going to visit your website, hopefully fill out a form on your website. You're going to, if you work like this, you're going to send an estimate or a proposal out, and you're going to hope that someone signs off on it. You're going to go to a networking event for lunch, and you're going to meet new people and hand out your business card, and they're going to give you their card. And then what do you do with all those cards besides let them fall off your desk? And nobody knows who these events are going to happen with every day, but we all know that they are going to happen. So what we want to do with drip marketing is templatize our response in advance, so when these great things happen in our business, all we do is pull the trigger, and the follow-up just happens naturally and automatically. And ideally, you would want to have all 7 of these set up, but in reality, if you can get your first one going, that's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations, and then you can start adding to it. So here is a list of all the things that you are going to do in order to get started, and don't write these down. I'm not even going to talk about them, but there are about 10 steps, and you're going to get this as part of a checklist tomorrow with the resources, so don't worry about reading them all, but it is pretty strategic, and that's different from sending out an email blast where you go, okay, we're going to have a sale before it's going to end on Friday, and so boom, send it out. This takes a lot more thought process, but it's not impossible. You're already doing it. You just haven't thought of it in a step-by-step manner in terms of follow-up before, unless you're already doing it. So to make it really, really simple, a lot of times it's easier to copy someone else's ideas than to start from scratch. So I'm letting you know in advance you will be dripped by us. And the trigger is that you attended this webinar today. Thank you very much. So you'll get our post-webinar event drip, and you'll be able to open it, read the message, see the order that we put things in, how many days does it last. Of course, you can opt out anytime. I hope that you won't, because I'm putting little surprises in there for you as we go, and I think that it'll be very educational for you. Even if you're already doing drip marketing, to see how someone else does it can be very helpful. And it's the way to tie up all the loose ends from the different triggers that happen in your business. So let's jump into the first one, which is website leads and inquiries. Did you know that 78%, I think it's even higher than that now, but 78% of all sales start with a web inquiry and get won by the company who responds to them first? That's amazing. Now, I have been trying this with my own drips over the last few years, and I can tell you when I have time to follow up as soon as I get the lead, it's a much more productive sales conversation than if I wait till I have time, quote unquote, in a couple of weeks to get back to somebody. So I'm sure it's like that in your business as well. So let's do a quick poll, Todd. Let's do the next poll. And I would like to know from everyone, what do I want to know, Todd? How many lead capture forms do you have on your website right now? So take a second, answer the poll. Coming in about like I thought. Yep. I've asked this question many times, and the answers always seem to come out to be the same. So, all right, let's cut that one off, Todd. And so, can they see the results, or do I need to say? Okay, so you guys can see the results. So 11% 0. Oh boy. Okay, we need to talk people who answered 0. 66% 1 to 2. That's about where I thought it would be, because most people do have a contact us form. They do have a sign up for my newsletter web form, and then that's about it. So I commend you. The 8% who said 6 or more, even the 3 to 5, those who answered 3 or more forms, congratulations. The biggest problem that I am asked to solve for our clients is, I need more business, I need more leads. How can I get more business? And if you simply add more lead capture forms to your website, you will get more leads if you're doing everything else properly. So whether or not you do AdWords to drive traffic to your site, if you're just doing the email blast portion of the Treasure Triangle, that's going to drive traffic to your website. But once they get there, what do you want them to do? So if they fill out a form, that's an indication of interest. And that's the time that you can start that conversation with them even after they've left the website. And a drip marketing campaign to everybody who fills out a web form, lead capture form, inquiry form, not necessarily on a contact us form because you don't know why they're contacting you at that point, but if you have downloadables on your site, so you're offering white papers, you're offering webinars like we do, you're offering whatever it is, but give people a reason to take an action and give up their contact information so that you have a way to follow up. So I'm going to have for each one of these 7 ways to use drip marketing, I'm going to have a couple of tips, and then I'm going to give you a case study. So for the tips on this one, obviously, if you've got your lead capture form set up on your website, you're going to get notified via email, and your visitor is going to get a thank you for submitting the form. And that's kind of where it ends. But did you know that your Swiftpage account has surveys in it, and web forms are survey forms, surveys are web forms, I should say. And you can connect your Swiftpage web forms to your website, and instead of just getting an email and then that's the end of it, that lead can also get automatically downloaded into your ACT database. It can start them on a drip marketing campaign. You will still get the email notification like you're already doing with your web form currently. But it's a full program. No matter when someone comes, they're going to get on that cycle. That email goes to you, the autoresponder goes to them, the drip marketing campaign is automatically launched. So as a case study for this one, we had a client who's in the construction business, and he built sound barrier walls on the highways. Those great big, huge walls that now they've gotten really pretty looking, and he makes the concrete that makes the walls to do that. And his customers are the architects and the big construction companies, and his sales cycle might be 2 to 5 years sometimes when they're doing these great big highway builds or subdivision builds or wherever the wall is required. So he was in the process of having a baby, and the weekend that his wife decided to have her baby, he got a lead that came into his site, and they filled out the lead capture form that we had put up there with his Swiftpage account. And he was too busy. Usually he checked his email every day because he would get the email notifications, but he was too busy. So he didn't do that. And the drip campaign went out automatically, and on Monday or Tuesday when he was back at his office and he checked his email, his architect who had requested the quote for a $25,000 bid said, "Thanks for getting me everything I needed so quickly, and here's the PO." So without doing anything, he answered a very important RFP that came in over his website because he knew his architects well enough to know that if they were on his site, they wanted certain information right away, and he was able to give it to them even though he personally did not have to do it. So that was one of our big success stories. We actually wrote a blog post about it on our site. He was pretty excited. So that's the kind of thing that can happen automatically with all your web forms. And the more you can have that process going on multiple times. So if somebody actually comes to your site and they fill out, let's say, 2 or 3 web forms because the stuff that you're offering them is so exciting, that's a pretty good indication that something is going on in their life that a sales call would be very well received. So that's another reason for adding lead capture forms. It starts that interactive dialogue with the prospect who you're going to eventually claim as your customer. Okay, this next one, this is my least favorite, but I have to mention it because it is the most popular one and the one that we're asked about the most. Cold prospecting, to me, is not really drip marketing, but it's the one that everybody wants to do because everyone wants to put their prospecting on autopilot. So it's the one that's most requested, but it's the hardest of all to get response from. It is the most annoying one to the recipient because in a lot of cases they don't know you. They haven't raised their hand to get information from you, so it really is more of an outbound approach. And if you don't handle this properly, Swiftpage will fire you as an account holder on their system because you're jeopardizing everyone else on their system who are sending permission-based emails. So you have to be very careful with it. We've had it work well for some of our clients, but it's not one that I would recommend. In fact, what I like to do when people ask me about this is to refer them to Jill Conrath, who's a sales expert. She has a book called Selling to Big Companies, and she does a complete cold call prospecting drip in her book. So in the resources that I send out tomorrow, I will give you a link to her book, and you can, I actually bought it on Kindle, and it's, so it's up on my screen when I think that I might want to try some prospecting. I don't even personally do that myself. Very often it's a very specific reason if I'm doing it. I certainly don't blast everybody on my database when they've not asked to receive stuff. So that's all I'm going to say about that one, but I did want to touch base on that one since it is such a popular one. Okay, this is probably my favorite one, so we went to my least favorite to my most favorite, proposal follow-up. So very few people sell anything that's a one-call close. So you usually you need a process to follow up. Yes, if you have salespeople, it's really their job to do it, but salespeople are going to look for the lowest hanging fruit, even if you resemble that remark yourself. And we all do it, but the sales cycle typically lasts longer than the ability for one person to follow up. So a drip is perfect in that case. Drips answer would be set up to answer the biggest objections. So it's always better for you as a salesperson to present the objections before the client brings it up. So the drip is perfect for having a Q&A to answer those things, questions that they might ask if they go ask around to their brother-in-law, sister's cousin, and that person is an expert on whatever you're selling and tells them what to ask for. So this is a way that you can kind of control that process. And in the way of a case study on that one, we had a security company who sold residential and commercial sales, but their residential sales, if they didn't close them in 5 days, they were done. They weren't going to close them. And their commercial sales cycle lasted about 1.5 years. So the drips on the residential side made the salesperson's follow-up calls much warmer, so people were more willing to receive a call from a salesperson instead of going to radio silence immediately once they had received the drip. And for the commercial side, it was really a differentiator because nobody else in their industry was doing that kind of a follow-up, and so it was a way for them to get a lot of case study information across to all these prospects. And again, when you've got multiple decision makers, when you send drip marketing campaigns out, those campaigns can be shared very easily. Those messages can be shared very easily. And I'm going to show you a little bit later one of the call lists from one of our campaigns showing you how one of our messages was sent out to a number of people and how you can tell that in your tracking in Swiftpage. How are we doing on time? Okay. All right, so the next one is pre- and post-event or trade show. I can include webinars in this. Any kind of an event where you're showing up in person and it's important to get people to your booth or to your webinar. Your top 3 tips on this one is you want to drip on people prior to the event as well as after the event. Now, after the event does not necessarily mean immediately after the event, because if it's a trade show, for example, everyone comes to the trade show, everyone's left cards all over the place, everybody's following up with that same prospect, maybe not for the same reason that you are, but there's a lot of activity going on when people get back. Plus, they've been away from their office, they're busy, they're not going to be as receptive to a message as they might be in a month. So you might want to have your post-drip on an event or a trade show start after a month or maybe 3 weeks instead of immediately. Maybe an instant, thanks, so nice meeting you, so nice to have a chance to chat with you at the show, we'll be in touch, and then 3 weeks later, the bulk of your drip starting. So another good way of doing the post follow-up is to incorporate social proof. So social media can be brought in to some of the messages that you're sending out, so you can copy messages of little tweets or things, status updates that people posted about you or the show, and remind people what a great time they had. We did a case, our case study for this one is a skincare and beauty product manufacturer's rep who decided to hold a trade show. It was a one-night event in the middle of January in a little remote part of town and invite people within a 100-mile radius. And it did happen to snow that night. I felt really bad for her. We tried to get her to do her event online, but she wouldn't do it. But even though she had a list of 600, she had 125 registrants come in from her drip prior to the show. And 85 still showed up, even though the weather was terrible. And, you know, she almost wasn't sure she was going to even have an event. But afterwards, she had a list of everybody who had been interested in attending, and she had a nice follow-up list from that she could drip on after. So that was a good event, and one that she could reproduce the next year when she had the same event again. Okay, first-time customers. So we all know the experience of signing a big customer and then going back to the office and popping champagne bottles and, you know, high-fiving each other all around the office. And we are feeling really, really good about this big sale that we just made. And here's the customer on, you know, way back at their office, sitting around having second thoughts, thinking, I wonder if I should have kept shopping, and maybe I could have gotten a better price if I would have looked online, if I would have, I know I have a business card somewhere in here of somebody who did that, and they're all going through buyer's remorse. So one of the best ways to attack buyer's remorse after a sale is through an onboarding drip campaign. And the onboarding drip campaign is a series of, here's who you are going to talk to in our company if you have any questions at all and you can't get hold of me. The worst thing to do and the worst rap the salespeople get is after they make the sale, they disappear. And rightly so, they probably should disappear, but they shouldn't disappear and have nobody set up to talk with them. So the drip can handle that. The drip can handle maybe some training, some basic training, where somebody doesn't have to wait for a scheduled training to take place. They can just read a little bit on your website about, you know, here's some common questions that get asked right away. And just think through the process of becoming a new customer with fresh eyes, and what questions do you get asked a lot by new customers, and those are good messages to put into your drip. Okay, next one, inactive. This is another great one. We all have customers on our list who, for whatever reason, have dropped off of any kind of activity with us. And our top 3 tips for you on this one are, first, you want to reintroduce yourself and remind them that they were a customer at one point. They may not remember, depending on how big or how small the transaction was with you. There may be a reason that they're not doing business anymore, and that's because they don't remember you anymore. So you want to remind them. And then you want to confirm that they're still the right decision maker. Maybe the reason that they're not ordering anymore is because they've moved on to a different position in their company, and they don't handle that kind of work. And so the purpose of the drip in that case would be to figure that out, and then who the new person is so you can update your list. And lastly, and this is a little counterintuitive, you want to start treating them like a prospect again who doesn't know anything. And you want to get them excited about your solutions again. The glow has worn off. So you're sort of, it's a little bit warmer because they have had a history with you, and that'll get you so far, but you want to start treating them like a prospect again and nurture them that way. So we had a client who was in the hazardous materials business, and he did a lot of online marketing and had a list of, I don't know, pretty high five-figure number of names on his list that they had lost contact with, and wrote a drip marketing campaign to kind of tweak them and reactivate them. And on the first message that went out, he took in a $14,000 order. So there is kind of business laying out there. This is probably one of my most favorite drips for finding lost revenue, because a lot of them are out there and they may not be buying from you anymore, but they may have a need and they may be buying from a competitor. So you might as well get yourself, well known and get in there as a preferred solution. All right, and then we've got expiration dates, company policy changes, government regulations. There's a lot of that, unfortunately, going on right now. And one of our best success stories with the government regulation changes was an insurance agent who was going through the Obamacare change in policy. And he, at the time we first started working with him, he said, "Lori, I'm either going to be a millionaire in a year or I'm going to be out of business," which was a terrible, terrible positioning for him to be in. But he was a fighter, and he actually found some niches with the insurance companies that he represented, and we were able to put together a great drip marketing campaign for him to kind of capitalize on all of the overwhelming concern that so many of us have, Americans anyway, so I apologize to you people who are not in the United States, or I should say, congratulations for not living in the United States for healthcare right now. But he was able to put together a wonderful drip that resonated very well with the people on his list, and I'm happy to say, I don't know if he's a millionaire, he hasn't shared that with me, but he's definitely in business and he's doing a great job, and the drip was a huge component of where he was at that time. So there are more that you can do. These are some other drips that are also ones that might be of interest, I'd say, to start with these, but just as an idea starter. So for our last poll, Todd, I would like to ask you if you were going to start on a drip, and if you've already started on drip, but you are thinking about adding some other ones, tell us which ones seem to appeal to you the most for starting with in your company. So give everybody a second to take that poll. And we only had 5 answers that we could put in here on GoToWebinar. They didn't give us unlimited, so sorry about that. If yours isn't on there, then just don't vote. But if yours is on there, let us know. And votes are still coming in. Good job, everybody. So Todd, we'll do 5, 4, 3, 2. Everybody hurry, hurry, hurry. 1. Okay, let's cut that off. And good, website leads, definite winner. Not surprised about that one. That's, more and more people are doing their business online. 47% of all emails are opened up on a mobile phone now. So if you have, I don't know what that's called, where you can click on your phone to a phone number and activate a call, that's a great system for driving people to call you right away if you're in the food business, for example, but also people have questions, so driving them back to your website and making it as easy as possible to click, 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 and start getting information from you, that's a great one. Reactivating previous customers, oh no, let's see, proposal follow-up, yep, that's number 2, reactivating number 3, and events and trade show number 4. Okay, that's great. Thank you everybody for that feedback, good to know. And okay, so the secret to all drip success is just do it. Just start. It doesn't matter if you do it wrong. You can't do it wrong because these are people who are in your process right now. They've had connection with you. They're expecting to hear from you. So it's kind of, there's ways to do it better, but I don't think as long as you're sending something out and it's thoughtful and it has some relevance to where they are, I don't think you can do it wrong. So it's better to have something out there. Done is better than perfect. And for those of you who need more motivation, the more forms, the more web forms you have, and the more drip marketing sequences that you can add, the stronger your relationships will be over time. So getting started, I'm going to turn it over to Todd, and I'm going to show you just a few things, or Todd's going to show you just a few things about how to get going with Swiftpage as your drip marketing. Todd, are you on?
I am, yes.
Okay. All right.
So
this is a familiar slide.
So this is ACT. This should be your ACT database or similar to it. The Swiftpage icon is a little orange envelope with cloud on it in your mini task toolbar. So you click on that, and the Swiftpage window will pop up. So there's tabs across the top of Swiftpage. We're going to discuss mainly the drip marketing tab. But the first tab that you come to is the email tab. This is where you would send off a one-off email. So on the treasure triangle, that would be the email blast that you would send off if you're wanting to do that. However, when you're setting up a drip campaign, you still will set up your templates the same way. So you'll use the same templates that you're, or same template editor that you're using to do an email blast, you're going to use to set up the templates for the drip marketing campaigns. So you'll go into edit template, and you need to create new ones or copy one from a previous. But you'll still use that to set up the templates for the drip marketing campaign. The survey tab, that's where you would set up your web forms. So Swiftpage can either host the web form for you. So there is when you create a web form on there, it does give you, it does actually put that out on the web for you. So Swiftpage will host that for you, or can host that for you. You can also copy the code, the source code, off of the Swiftpage form and paste that right into your website as well. So if you would prefer to have the web form right into your website, you can just copy the Swiftpage code from the page that it generates for you, paste that into your site, and then Swiftpage will then he'll now start capturing all the leads that are coming in off those forms. So you use the survey tab to set up those forms, and you can either just leave them on Swiftpage or copy them off onto your site. The results tab is after you send out an email blast using the email tab to send out a one-off email, you can download the results back into your ACT database. The results would be if anybody opened, clicked on it, a link in there, forwarded on, those sort of things from your email blast. You can get the reports right in Swiftpage. So on the results tab, there's also a reports button. So you can go into Swiftpage and pull reports. But you can also download that information right into your ACT database. It puts it into the history tab of each contact that you sent an email to, shows how many times they've opened it, how many times they clicked on it, and generates a score for each one of those as well. So it goes into the history tab of each of those contacts. Oh, and I also should mention on the survey tab, when somebody fills out a form, a Swiftpage form, it goes into that survey tab, and you click on that to download that contact into your ACT database. So anytime anybody fills out the form, Swiftpage captures that information on their servers. You go into the survey tab, and then you can download that information into your ACT database. So if the contact already exists in ACT, it'll update that contact record with what they filled out on the form. If they do not exist, it will create a new contact for them. And it does that based on email address. So the drip marketing tab. So we're going to mostly discuss the drip marketing tab here. So if we click on that, that takes us over to our drip marketing campaigns. This is a sample of what our campaign looks like. This is the campaign manager. It shows a listing of all of the drip campaigns that are in our account. So this would show all of the ones that you're in your account. You would create a new campaign up at the top. So you just click the new campaign button, name it, and then there are several different types of drip campaigns. One of the drip campaigns that Lori mentioned was an event campaign. So you have an event out in the future, and you're going to want emails leading up to that event, and you're going to want emails after that event. So there is it's called an anchor campaign within Swiftpage. You set up a date, you choose a specific date, and then you can choose how many days before emails go out and how many days after an email go out. So that's one type. Another is duration, yeah. So another one is duration. Duration is a typical one that most of your drip campaigns will be. Anytime a web form, those would all be durations. So that means it's all based on the date that they entered the campaign. So that either the date that they filled out a form, the date they were added to your ACT database, whatever it is that's triggering them added to the campaign. The campaign itself will be based on that date, and it'll be so many days after after they're entered that campaign. So most of ours here are duration campaigns, and you can see a listing of all of them. The ones that are, and if you look at that status column, you can see the ones that are complete. So these were webinar follow-ups. So we had specific emails going after a webinar. This was a previous 7 ways, and this was similar to what it would look like if we were to look at ours now with everybody from this webinar in it. It'll show it'll be green and ready to be launched. So the green ones mean that they're active, they're currently running. And then the check marks mean that they've completed, they've gone through all of their sequence of emails and they've completed. And then the tool there, that is one that we're actively setting up. It's a campaign that's in the editing process. So once we've completed the campaign and we've completed setting it up, or if we need to edit it, there's an edit button where we can go in and we can edit it. And this is what what the editor looks like as we're editing a campaign. So you can see over there on the right, it has a listing of all of our current templates, emails that are going out, plus a call list. I'll show you what a call list looks like here in a second. But that number 3 there is a call list, and I'll explain to you what that means too. But the first one and the second one are both emails. So we have an email that's going to go out day 1, and then another one that's going out day 2, the following day. And then we skip a few days, and we'll have one on day 8, and then out day 16. So we go every 8 days then after that. And again, this is all based on the date that they're entered into the campaign. So for this webinar, everybody's going to be entered in today, and then your first one you should get will be tomorrow. Okay, so then I think the next slide is the editor, is that right? Yeah. So if we click to edit a campaign or an email, so there's that little icon, that E icon, we click on that. That is to create a new email stage. So you're going to add an email to the stage. It pops up this little window. We give it a name. Our naming convention, we use a couple different types of naming conventions depending on what the drip campaign is for. You can see that we have webinar follow-up. So that's the first thing. And then we have a dash, and we have what the webinar was. So if it's a web form, we may do web form dash and then what the web form is. Or if it's a event, we may just do event dash what the event is. Then each template, so each email that goes out, we have a dash and then the number email after that. So when we're creating the template within our template editor, we're going to name it the same way. You can see down right below that, we have the template that we have selected here. And we, DM stands for drip marketing. So our naming convention is DM-ACC 7 ways -01 -basic. So we name it the template when we're creating it, what the number is, so that we can easily tell what stage that template goes to. And now I have to dig through the whole thing. So we always put the DM at the beginning. That puts everything, all the templates, all right there together, so that we don't have to dig through all of our templates. Then we put in the subject line. We put in the number of days delay that we want. Because this was a duration campaign and is based on the date that they entered the campaign, this is the number of days after they've entered the campaign. and it starts giving you the first one as option of day 1. Then below that, it says which contacts we're going to send this to. In this case, we're going to do it to everybody that's in the campaign. We've only entered the people that have signed up for this webinar, so into this campaign, so we want all of them to receive that. You can also use this below that. It says contacts from, is that the one we want? I'm looking for, okay, so yeah, below that you can have it also send a follow-up email. We use this sometimes when we're doing one-offs. We'll set up a drip campaign for a one-off email blast instead of just doing a simple email manually. We set it up as a drip campaign because what you can do is under this options here, we can tell it to on day 2 resend the same email template, but do not send it to anybody that opened the previous one. So that's an option there as well. Sometimes we will set up drip campaigns that they are for one-off emails, but the second email in the campaign is a repeat of the first one the next day, but it's sent to people that have not opened the previous one. So we have used email campaigns for this in that manner as well. But in this case, we're just doing everybody that's in the drip campaign. Same with day 2, we'll send it to everybody that's in the drip campaign. So we save that stage, that adds it over to the right-hand side, so now we have our day 1, and we'll repeat that with all of our emails within the campaign. Do we have we don't have the call list. So okay, so one of the stages though, can you go back real quick? Let's go back one more. So on the top buttons here, this is where on the left-hand side, this is where you add your different ones. So we clicked on email first, but you also want to do the call list. So what the call list does is it will take your email that you sent out in the drip campaign. So right now we have one, the third one here on day 4 is generating a call list. This will go through our previous emails and pull together all of the contacts that have opened or clicked on it on any link within that contact or within that email, score all of those, and then create a call list based on that score. So the highest score first in descending order. So that Swiftpage is telling you these are the people that are very active looking at your email, clicking on links within your email, and these are the people that you need to call. And this is what that report looks like. So this is a sample call list. Is actually from that particular drip campaign as well. This is an old campaign, but it's from that. And it shows you John here, the first one, has a score of 546 because he opened it 28 times and clicked on it 14 times. So more than likely he didn't actually do that. More than likely he forwarded this on to somebody else in his office or somewhere else. And anytime the people that he forwarded on to open it or click on it, that's also kind of towards his score. So it's unlikely that he did that many times. But he did forward it on to other people that were very interested in it. So he would be a hot prospect for us because he was so active with that email. And that's what Swiftpage is telling you is based on that score, these are the people that are most active with your emails. These are the ones that you need to follow up with.
Ted, let me just jump in too and say that the scores on this report, where I was talking about the 100% response rate, I don't know that I had that on this particular campaign, but these scores are about double, sometimes triple, what the highest score typically is for an email blast, like if we send out a newsletter. So these follow-up drips are much more well-regarded, much more read, I should say, by the people who receive them than a basic email blast would be. So you might, if you're accustomed to looking at your scores in Swiftpage, you might want to compare that. Are you going to talk about this other report also?
Yes. So this is another report you can get within Swiftpage, and it shows you, I'm sorry, oh, with the drip marketing, yeah, within Swiftpage drip marketing, it shows you each stage. So you see the columns with each stage, and each person within that drip campaign, how many times they opened and clicked on each individual stage. So we can go down that list. We can see there's one that's 27 times. Oh, there's another one that's very hot. They opened it 27 times for the first stage email, so the first email that went out. And then the second email went out, they opened it 21 times and clicked on it twice. So you'll also notice it's, yeah, and that one is another one that they probably forwarded on. Usually that's not accurate when it's that high. But you'll also notice that it skipped a couple stages there. Those were now on stage 5 in that third column. So the other 2 stages were probably call list stages. So that's why they don't appear. This will only show any emails that were sent out, a stage that was an email stage. And stage 5 has nothing in it. That is because when Lori set up that particular email, it didn't have any links in it. So there's nothing there for them to click on, and most likely then that they wouldn't do anything to trigger an open either. So that's kind of how Swiftpage tracks everything, is by links or images. So if they don't download the images or click on any links, then Swiftpage has no way to know if they've opened it. So that's another recommendation, is to put links within your templates, within your emails, so that Swiftpage has a better tracking mechanism for them. Okay, next one.
I think we're it. I think that's it.
Okay.
Thanks, Todd. All right, so we're going to start taking questions in a minute. So if you have some questions that you would like us to answer, type them into your chat box, and we'll be alerted and we'll get to those. And for everyone on the call today, this is kind of a big topic, and there's a lot of moving parts. So if you would like to discuss whether drip marketing is even right for your company, and if so, how would you use it, I'm happy to have a 10-minute brainstorming session with you. Just go to this link on our site. You can sign up for it. My calendar is online. I'm happy to walk you through other similar campaigns we've done for your industry. If you are already using drip marketing and you think you're in a pretty good space, but you would like me to audit what you're doing, I'm happy to do that for a 10-minute brainstorm. So we're here to be a resource for you in any way that we can. And if you've got any questions that you want to send me in advance, I can also answer them through email. So we're going to take some questions. I also want to mention that we do these trainings every other week, bi-weekly, and we've been doing them for years now. Typically they have a charge, but I do like to do a few for free every year. This was one of them. The next one coming up is going to be how to prepare your database for the holidays, for those of you who want to send holiday cards, give out gifts to top clients, and send them through a mail merge label or through a mail merge letter. So we're going to talk about all of that, and also cleaning up your database for the new year. So it's a good time. Put that on your calendar. I'll have a link in the resources for tomorrow on that one as well. Hope that we'll see you back there. And Todd, questions?
All right, so we got a couple here. How do you reach the drip marketing platform, and what is drip marketing? So he said he arrived a little late, so he didn't hear what it was.
Okay.
You want to talk about the
why don't you just talk about how to get back into the drip marketing module in Swiftpage, in ACT.
Okay. Well, we did record this as well, so
yeah.
Tomorrow there will be a recording of this go out from GoToWebinar, and you can re-watch the presentation from the beginning if you want. But to access your account within ACT, there's a little icon on the little toolbar. It's a little orange envelope with a cloud behind it. If you click on that, that'll take you into Swiftpage, and there's a drip marketing tab there to actually connect and get to your drip marketing account. Okay. Another one is, what are some topics for network follow-ups?
Okay, like networking events, I'm assuming that is. Those are really good because most people expect that after you go to a networking event, you're going to start pitching them right away. And instead, what you really want to use the networking drip to do is educate the person that you met about how they could help you and ask them how you can help them. So one of the secrets that I think make that one work really well is when you've met that person and they've handed you a card, write something on the back. This is just, networking 101, but write something on the back that you can refer to, and you can put that into a mail merge field in ACT and incorporate that into the drip marketing campaign so that when you send the drip out, it's sounding pretty personalized. So you have to write it in a way that it will make sense for the sentence that you're constructing on your drip. But that works really, really well, and people really appreciate that, especially if you're approaching them with, how can I help you? Another good one is, here's my link on LinkedIn. Let's connect there. Maybe if they're a good prospect for you and you do want to try to sell them, then maybe do some research on their site before you send out that first message and see what other mail merge information you can include about what they do. So don't make it all about you. It's really trying to initiate a conversation, and you can have some throwdown, maybe 3 throwdown messages that you send to everybody that you meet the first time once you've got them perfected, and it works really well. Good question. What else, Todd?
Okay. You want to mention it is at the top of the hour now, so.
Okay. Well, we'll stay on a little bit longer and answer some questions, but if you need to drop off, feel free, and the answers will be on the recording that you get tomorrow, and you can listen in then.
Okay. So another one is, how do I get my basic first drip without links or photos to not go into my junk folder when I send a test email?
Okay, that's a really good question. You're sort of on a level playing field with Swiftpage and every other email service provider out there. Google is doing everything that it can to segment the messages that are sent out into the different tabs. So you've got promotions tabs, and that's where I see most of the Swiftpage announcements go that I send. But part of my drip, I try to tell people to move me from the promotions tab into their inbox. They can just click and drag it. If people are using Outlook or AOL, it's a little bit harder, but there are some things that you can do to improve your deliverability within Swiftpage. And we talked about those in the last couple of trainings, so I don't want to get into it too much, but basically you need to fill out a, what's it called, Todd?
SPF record.
SPF record, thank you. And I'll put the link to that in the resources tomorrow. I'm writing that down. And also ask people to whitelist your email. We've been using the same email address. Actually, this time I think I did change it, but we've been using the same email address to send our Swiftpage emails for 10 years. So it's a known email address when it comes to the recipients, and a lot of people change the email every time they send it, so the servers never get used to the same address. So you want to have some consistency as well. There's some other tips that I have a cheat sheet on, and I'll include that in the resources that go out tomorrow.
Okay, and do you have a checklist for getting this set up?
Yes, I do, and that will also be a resource that I'll send out tomorrow.
Okay. When setting up a drip market for new leads, can you just enter the lead one at a time to preset campaign?
You want to take that, Todd?
Yeah, typically the way, yes, you can just put in a lead just one at a time. You can choose who goes into that. Typically the way a drip campaign is connected, it's either connected via a form, so somebody fills out a form that launches them directly on a drip campaign. But the other method is you set up a group within ACT, and whichever contacts go into that group are launched on the drip campaign. So you do have to sync that, but once that's set up and syncing, then it controls, that group controls who goes on that campaign. So you can either have that them be automatically entered into that group based on some criteria, or you can manually do it just one at a time. So you just add them to that group, then that would launch them on the campaign. Okay. We have somebody asking about ACT software. So how do they get ACT software? So what do you want to say to that?
I'll send you a link for who you should follow up with.
Okay. How do you add ACT groups into drip marketing?
Go, Todd.
All right. So within the Swiftpage, well, first thing you would do is set up the group. So you set up your group within ACT. ACT has the dynamic groups available, so you can either use it based on a criteria or you manually add them to that group. But within the drip marketing module of Swiftpage, so I'm clicking on this drip marketing tab here, there is a add to the sync. I forgot the terminology of it, but it's sync contacts to drip campaign.
Yeah, sync group to
sync group.
drip.
Yeah. So you click on that. It'll ask you which group you want to sync it to. It gives you a drop-down list of all of the groups within your ACT database. You select it, submit it, and it will show you what it's going to do. The context is going to add, remove, or update. And you say OK to that, and that pushes the contact information over to Swiftpage. And now the Swiftpage servers take it from there and send out the drip campaign. So it's all within this drip marketing tab that you sync the groups as well. Okay, so we are a rep company with a small customer base and don't have nor need a website. Is a website necessary to do drip marketing?
Nope. Todd, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so it's the same thing. So you can use groups within ACT to synchronize it to the drip campaign and launch them on drip campaigns. So if you can either do the criteria, like I said, you can do it manually. So like a lot of the events that we go to, we would set up a group for each event and then add the contacts that we've met in that at that event into that group, and then that would launch them on the drip campaign when we synchronize that group with the campaign. So you don't have to have a form to do it. It's either a form though or a group within ACT. That's how you launch different contacts within on a drip campaign. One of those two.
You can create a landing page with a template in Swiftpage that you could put a form on. So, for example, you could put your line chart or your pricing and product chart on as a downloadable and continue to send people there. That would be one way that you could. A lot of rep firms use it that way, so that in your email signature, for example, you could say, get an updated line card. And then they would click on that, go to the form, fill it out, and it would automatically download a PDF to them immediately. And it would probably save you guys tons of time from manually sending those out.
Right, yeah, so Swiftpage will host the form for you, so you don't have to have a website to have a form on it. Swiftpage will actually host it for you, and you can just send people directly to that. Okay, another one is if you update a Swiftpage template, will it automatically update the drip campaign? That's a very good question.
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, and the answer to that is no. What you would have to do is you'd have to pause, and in that drip campaign, can you click on the next window or next slide? Within your campaign manager, there is a suspend button. So all of those that have the green icons in the status, they have the suspend option. You would suspend the campaign after you've updated your template. You'd suspend your campaign, edit that campaign, find that email within the stages, edit that stage, change the, I don't know that you have to actually change the template, but I usually do. I change the template, save it, so I just pick any template, save it to a different template, and then edit again and change it back and save it back, and then relaunch the campaign when I'm done. So that will update that that template within the drip campaign. So we have somebody else that said they came on late. So this has been recorded. You will receive an email tomorrow with the recording, so you won't have missed anything.
I think that's it.
That's it. Yep.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time, and see you on the next one.